no! Oh no! I don't know if that's what you want. Save yourself. I'm going to see some friends this weekend, and I want to bring something with me because, let's get real, at this point it's just expected. And I thought that New York style crumb cake sounded perfect, so that's what we're gonna make today. I have taken 2 steps to prepare for this recipe. First, I have this 8x8 tin, which I have fitted with tin foil, and I have preheated my oven. Hey guys, great news. For weeks, I have been dealing with this really hot oven, not really knowing what to do. And then very helpful people on the internet were like, get an oven thermometer. And it turns out I just had to turn it down 25 degrees. So, seems like this could have been solved weeks ago. The recipe calls for this being preheated at 325, so I have this at 300. Amazing. I've never made this before. I think that it's very similar to like coffee cake, right? And interestingly, we're starting with the crumb topping. I would have thought that we started with the cake bit, but listen, I trust my favorite cookbook. I'm not here to ask questions. I'm here to follow instructions. For the crumb topping, we need melted butter, dark brown sugar, salt, sugar, cinnamon, and cake flour. If you're new to baking, you might sometimes see these recipes where it's calling for cake flour or bread flour or all-purpose flour, and you're like, what's the difference? Can't I just use what's in my cupboard? Cake flour is different from all-purpose flour because it has lower protein content and is designed to develop less gluten. So if you think about the crumb structure from like an Italian bread to like a nice light piece of cake, a lot of that is down to the flour that you are using. Fun fact, I thought I had everything for this recipe, started laying it out, and then realized that the box of cake flour I had was nearly empty. So this is actually 2 different brands of cake flour combined, and hopefully that will be totally fine. In this medium bowl, I'm going to combine the melted butter. Don't ignore this. It's on a little coaster because I melted it in the oven and then it came out and it was really hot. Granulated sugar, brown sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and an itty bitty amount of salt. Now in with the cake flour, and I'm switching over to a spatula. We now have this homogeneous mass that sort of looks like cookie dough, but hopefully we are on the right track. We won't know till the end. Moving on to the cake, the ingredients include cake flour, 2 eggs, granulated sugar, buttermilk, baking soda, vanilla, and softened butter. Apparently I live in a furnace because I put this butter out to soften and then it immediately became way too soft and had to go back in the fridge. What I'm looking for is for this to be able to bend without breaking. There is a lot of science going on in baking, so temperature for this kind of stuff does matter. Everything else, the eggs, the buttermilk, is at room temperature. I have outfitted my stand mixer with the paddle attachment, and into the bowl goes the cake flour, granulated sugar, a little bit of baking soda. Oh, and I need salt. Add salt to the ingredients list. I'm gonna run this on low until everything is incorporated, and then I'm going to take 6 tablespoons of this butter and add it 1 piece at a time. We are looking for crumbs. We're looking for this to look like crumbs. We have achieved the stage of moist crumb. There is no visible butter anymore. It's very crummy, and when I squeeze it together, it kind of forms these little balls, but then breaks apart real nice. The next step is to add the buttermilk, 1 egg, and 1 yolk. And for ease, I'm just gonna add them all to this measuring cup. You know, they always say add 1 large yolk, and I feel that I have no control over that. And the vanilla goes in at this stage. Oh, pouring with my left hand there. Living on the edge. This delicious concoction is going in here. I will beat on medium until everything is light and fluffy, about a minute, but we'll see how long it takes. Oh yes, that looks perfect. It gained a ton in volume and lightened in color. Good to go. Oh, I have a feeling this is gonna be good. I'm just gonna work it into the corners. You know, it's not a ton of cake batter, which I might have been alarmed by, but that looks on point with the picture. The crumbly topping that we prepared earlier is back in the game. Oh, wow. Oh, it like really set up. Oh, wow, that's a lot different than it was, which is good, I guess, because we need to crumble it. Huh. The book says to crumble this on top, starting at the edges and moving your way in. Trying to get a variety of crumb size. Oh, it's like kind of hard to get out of the bowl. There's a lot. Wow, okay. My technique is evolving like any good artist. There's gonna be a lot of crumb topping on top of this, and I support it. There we are. This is the before shot. This will bake for 30 to 40 minutes in my 300-degree oven, but in your 325-degree oven. And I'm going to check it at that time and prick it with a, they say toothpick, but I'm gonna use a cake tester. And we're gonna look for that to come out clean. It is now many, many hours later, and I'm starting to hit that afternoon slump, and I feel like what's a better pick-me-up than some New York style crumb cake. So let's get into this thing. I couldn't talk when I was coming out of the oven because someone was vacuuming in my hallway, which was at once annoying, and then also I was like aware that someone was vacuuming, which is a nice thing, so I couldn't get too mad. But I also couldn't talk. Oh, that left it right out. Now I know what you're thinking. I said that I was gonna bring this to my friends, and yet I'm gonna eat some now, which means that I will not be delivering a perfect square. I will be delivering a square with a bite out of it. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So far it looks a lot like the picture. Oh. Okay. Ah. Oh. Ooh. I thought that would hold better. Okay. There seems to be a chasm. Just shove it back together, maybe no one will notice. How do I get the tinfoil out then? Oh, oh no! Is this the way? Okay. I don't know if that's what you want. I guess I can just kind of put it back together. But that was kind of crazy. Why is the fridge making a weird sound? Don't start with me. I already hate the microwave. Let's take a little piece from the side that chasmed off. I don't have to cut this way because it already broke. Looks pretty well like the picture. I would say that their cake looks much fluffier than my cake does. Now it says to dust with sugar because I don't think there's enough sugar in it. Hang on. Doesn't that look nice? Man, I was just about to take a bite, but I gotta tell you what we're doing. Now is my favorite part. It is time to taste, and it is time to grade. Every time I make a new recipe from my favorite cookbook, the Cook's Illustrated Baking Book, I assign it a grade using the OWL grading system from Harry Potter. Nerds, shout me out if you already know it. If you aren't super cool like me, here's a rundown of the grades. Now we're on the same page. Let's eat. I feel like I need a cup of tea. Okay. You know in the Great British Bake Off when Paul Hollywood's like, I'm so sorry to tell you, but your cake is welding my mouth shut? I was always like, what's he talking about? And I think I might know what he's talking about now. I don't know, maybe, did I mess up the cake somehow? Like, their cake looks really nice and has like a brown bottom. Mine has like a sticky bottom, which is weird. Remember we put in like a little bit of cinnamon? I guess I'm kind of getting that, but there's not a ton of other flavor. I mean, am I even the right person to be judging this? Because like, have I ever had New York style crumb cake? No. This is my first time. Maybe this is like exactly what it's supposed to taste like. I can see this being something that I would definitely eat were it at like someone's, I don't know, baby shower or something, and it's just out there with all different other kinds of things, and you have some and you're like, oh yeah, that's good. But is it good? It's kind of underwhelming on its own. Get ready for this, you guys. This New York style crumb cake needs to start the year over. It gets a P for pour, needs to go back, redo the 5th year at Hogwarts, and it can try again. Room for improvement, I would say, have the cake be less mouth weldy, add a bit more punch to flavor, and I think we could get there. There is a coffee cake recipe in here. It's literally on the next page. So I'd be interested to try that. This is kind of what I thought was gonna be kind of coffee cake-ish. And I'd be interested to try that one and see, does it have more flavor? Does it have a better texture? Does it really kind of stand up where this one fell a little bit short? But we're calling it today for a New York style crumb cake, P for pour. Better luck next time. I'm back. I know what you're thinking. We all thought this episode was over. I took my apron off, turned off the camera, was ready to pack it up. And then I started to package up the New York style crumb cake because I was gonna take it to my friends, right? And I got a better look at this thing. And oh boy, it is not a pea. The center of the cake was the stodgiest of stodge. You guys saw I tested from the side, like the corner of the cake, and that was kind of welding my mouth shut and was like not very pleasant to eat. The center had like completely collapsed. It had condensed down into this like 1/2 inch gross cake, like not even cake anymore. My favorite cookbook was specific when it told us where to sprinkle the crumb topping. It said start from the outside, work your way in, because it didn't want there to be too much weight in the center. Okay, I did do that. There of course was still crumb topping in the center, and I used the amount that was in the recipe. It didn't say avoid the center completely or it's gonna turn into a stodgy mess. I don't know what happened with this cake, but guys, this is not a pea. I had to turn the camera back on. I had to put my apron back on. I had to come back out here because we have our first D. D is for dreadful. Here's what I'm gonna say. Do not make this crumb cake. Save yourself, okay? This was not a good cake. I thought about, is it a T for a minute? I feel like a T. I mean, T is for troll. T has to be like you spit it out. Like you can't, like I ate that little piece and it wasn't pleasant, but like I got through it. I think a T would make you have to sort of vomit on the spot. So, whoa. New York style crumb cake, D for dreadful, hashtag yikes. Man, if I was watching this video, I would like it and subscribe. There's harsh food judgment, a dash of nerdiness, and you know, you just gotta like hang out with me in my kitchen. Thumbs up.